weekend, I tried to set up a few new gecko enclosures, and keyword there is try. And I failed so badly with these enclosures. They all just look so terrible. They all turned out really, really bad, and I want to show them to you guys. Like, what even is this? What is this? Why did I do this? And same here, this is so bad. This is terrible. So what you just saw were the terrible enclosures that I set up over the weekend. So over the weekend, I decided that I wanted to redo Avery's enclosure, who is my Chihuahua gecko, as well as Derek, who is my gargoyle gecko, and wow, they turned out so bad. So I wanted to redo their enclosures over the weekend because it had just been a really, really, really long time since either of those enclosures have got a like makeover or anything. They were all super overgrown and they just really needed to be redone. And I didn't buy any new supplies to do this, you know. I didn't buy like any wood, any cork, I didn't buy any plants or anything because I thought that I had enough stuff here to make some nice enclosures. But that was definitely a mistake because these ones just turned out so bad. Just look at this, this is so sad. There's just like a super dead plant there. This one's drooping and it's just a really empty enclosure and I do not like it at all. So this is the enclosure that I set up for Derek, my gargoyle gecko, and once again, I am embarrassed at this enclosure. When I was getting ready to set it up, you know, I thought that it would all be fine. I was like, cool, I have this nice big piece of cork. I have these like 2 cork branches and stuff, so I was like, cool, that'll give me a decent amount of climbing things, but like, no, I need so much more. And then plants, oh my god, the poor plants. So I have this snake plant in here, which is now drooping over the food ledge, along with a pothos that has been trampled by Derek, and another pothos that was going up here and has now been trampled to the ground, and some dying umbrella trees. So this enclosure is just fantastic. And now I already knew that I wouldn't like this enclosure as much as like my other ones here, for example, because it doesn't have a custom background. I still just have the original background in here, which I don't like, but it's okay. Either way, background aside, this enclosure is just still trash and it needs to be redone. And then same thing over here. So this one at least does have a custom background. However, it's one that I made a long time ago and I don't really like and I would love to redo, but background aside, the rest of the enclosure is just still a mess. I couldn't get it right. I don't know, maybe I was just like in a weird mood or something when I was setting these up and just had like no creativity because I just could not do anything with them. Again, there's like a pothos here that has been trampled to the ground. It is a long vine that I did have going up, but you know, it's just down here on the ground here, and this enclosure is looking equally as terrible as the other one. So as I mentioned, these enclosures are just simply terrible. They were not really planned out at all. I kind of rushed them. I did them only with supplies that I have here in my house right now. There was no preparation and they turned out really bad. However, I still really wanted to show them to you guys. So I found that over the past year or so, there have been times where I am just like scared to even film in my reptile room because something isn't perfect or exactly the way that I want it to be. You know, that is part of the reason why I haven't done a reptile room tour in over like a year and a half, is because I ended up putting so much pressure on myself for everything to be perfect that I didn't want to show things if they weren't. When truthfully, that is just not the reality, you know? Sometimes I set up an enclosure and I think it looks terrible and I absolutely hate it, like those 2 up there. And that's okay, you know? They're not the best enclosures right now and that's okay. I don't need to be so hard on myself to have them be absolutely perfect. Now obviously I'm not going to be leaving the enclosures like that because I don't think that's a great setup for my animal and it doesn't make me happy. So I am still going to be changing things, but I just want to stop putting so much pressure on myself to only film down in my pet room if everything is completely perfect, because that is unrealistic, especially when I have as much stuff down here as I do. Things aren't going to be perfect all the time, and that's okay. So there are my terrible gecko enclosures that I set up over the weekend. So obviously I am not going to be leaving the gecko enclosures how they are. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think it's great for the gecko and I don't like it. So I am going to be redoing them probably later this week or weekend. And this time I'm going to prepare a little bit more ahead of time. This week I'm going to go out and buy a couple new plants and probably some new like cork pieces and stuff. But yeah, right now these enclosures are really terrible, but I do plan on fixing them later this week. Now that we have sat down and took a wonderful look at my absolutely beautiful gecko enclosures that I set up, let's just leave those enclosures behind for now. We don't need to think about them anymore, and let's just move on to some other updates around the reptile room. So I want to give you guys a little bit of an update on my chameleon geckos here. So this guy right here, I don't know how well you can see him, he's on the branch there, is Pluto. This is my male Urodactylodes viardi. And then right over here we have Venus, who is my female. So the plan with my chameleon geckos is to breed them, and that has basically always been the plan and why I got a male and a female. The reason why I have not bred them yet is because Venus was just simply too young. So I got Venus here in August of 2020, so I've had her for close to a year now, but you know, we're not fully there yet. And she was born in June of last year, so Venus is about 1 year old. And now Pluto here is a little bit older. He's closer to 2.5. So Venus has been growing so much over the past year, and when I weighed them earlier this week, I discovered that Venus is now officially breeding weight. However, I still don't plan on breeding her just yet because she is still quite young. So as of right now, Venus, the female, weighs 9 grams, and Pluto, my male, weighs 4.5 grams. So there is a really big difference between the two of them. However, this is very normal for chameleon geckos, as the females usually are a lot larger than the males. So once I realized that she hit breeding weight, I wasn't sure if I wanted to breed them just yet because, like I said, she is still quite young. Based off the research that I did, most people like to wait until they're at least 1.5 years old before pairing them together. So that is my current plan. Even though Venus has gotten really big, I'm still going to give her a little bit more time to grow, and I'll wait until she's 1.5 years old before I move her and Pluto in together. And speaking of breeding, my baby cat geckos are all doing super well. All 4 of them are still right here. I just had them out last night to get an updated weight on all of them and clean all of their enclosures, and all of them are still doing really, really well. And Lex here was caught being bad yesterday. Lex was being a very bad lizard, and she was eating her fake plants, which was so sad to see. Now, eating fake plants is fairly common amongst some bearded dragons. I know it's just a habit that some of them have. However, I've had Lex for almost 2.5 years now, and she has never attempted to eat a fake plant in her life. And then I come down here yesterday and I see her just fully destroying one of the fake plants that she had in her enclosure. So I had to go ahead and take them all out. Like, these were all of her plants that she used to have, but obviously I don't want her eating them. So I had to go ahead and take all of the plants out of her enclosure. So now her enclosure is fairly empty. I mean, there's obviously still a lot of like wood and stuff in here, but it looks so much more boring and bland now that the plants are all gone, so that's unfortunate. But I would rather have a slightly boring looking enclosure than a lizard who is constantly ingesting fake plants. So unfortunately, Lex lost her fake plant privilege. You shouldn't have eaten them. You shouldn't have eaten your plants. don't eat your plants. Alright guys, and the last update I have for you is about this shelf right here. So last week I was able to install some brand new UVB fixtures. So now every UVB fixture that you see here, I have 3 on top and then 2 on the middle shelf here. These are all the Arcadia Shade Dweller kits. So you can see right there, it says the Arcadia Pro T5 UVB kit, and then like I said, the bulb inside all of them is the 7% Shade Dweller. I have to say guys that I have been absolutely obsessed with this so far, mainly because all 5 of these lights that I just showed you run off of one single cord. This cord right here, the one that I'm holding, is the only cord that powers all of these lights. So you can see they all connect together, which is just like so awesome. Even the one down here, like this UVB cord goes down and connects to the one down here. So literally every single UVB light on here is now running off of one single power cord, and I am obsessed with it. I'm basically working on slowly switching over all of my lights to these fixtures because the fact that they can be connected is just like life-saving. It is amazing. I really like it. So in case you're not familiar with the animals on here, I have Daisy, my African fat-tailed gecko, Sandwich, my chubby frog, Fern, my African fat-tailed gecko. Then we have Sushi, my leopard gecko. We have my Oida salamanders here. They don't have a UVB light. I chose not to give them one. And then lastly over here we have Alani, who is again a leopard gecko. So that is what is currently going on down here in my reptile room. I set up some really terrible enclosures, but I also set up some really good light, and Lex lost her fake plant privileges. So that is what is going on in my life right now. Now I am going to tell you guys something really exciting. Over the past week, I have been preparing to film a new reptile room tour, and also a like all of my pets video that will be coming somewhat soon after, but very soon I'm going to be filming a brand new reptile room tour video, which so many of you have asked for so long. So it is finally coming. That is basically one of the reasons why I was redoing enclosures and stuff last week, is to get ready for this video. So that will be coming soon, and I just thought that I would let you guys know because I know a lot of you have been waiting a very long time for that. So hopefully you won't have to wait too much longer. With all of this said and done, I am just going to go ahead and end this vlog here. Thank you all so much for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this one, don't forget that I post a vlog every Monday and another video every Thursday. So if you aren't already, subscribe to my channel to stick around for that, and also be sure to give this video a big thumbs up because it really helps me out and it costs you nothing. Also be sure to check out all of my social medias. They will all be down in the description below, and I would love to have you guys over there, so make sure you do that. And with all of this said and done, I am just going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next video.